Alright, if you clicked on this video, it means it was a success, I think, because you've kind of seen the cover image of what this is going to turn out like. I don't know yet. I just have an idea in my head of something I want to do. It's something fun and creative. It's a little twist. It's a day off from the normal things I would work on, so I'm just going to be creative and see how this goes. So let's get into it.
So this whole project is going to be created out of scrap wood and cutoffs. I have a scrap piece of MDF, and I'm going to apply a piece of ash and a piece of cherry to the front of it. I'm going to plane that down to 1/8 of an inch, and the idea is this going to be a horizon line or a water line in the lower center of this panel. So in order to speed the process up of planing these down to 1/8 of an inch, I'm going to resaw them. And I'm going to add two things, even though this is a plug for them, but it's not because I don't make any money off this. But I bought this bow featherboard, and that thing was fairly expensive in my opinion, but it works excellent. I haven't looked back at that purchase. And the other big purchase I made is on this bandsaw. I purchased the Laguna 3/4 inch carbide tipped resaw blade, and that thing runs straight, it stays sharp, and it creates a really good resawed finish. You could probably get away with just sanding, but I'm not doing that here. I'm going to plane this down. But this will speed the process up and remove a lot of that wood. And then it was just that, moving over to the planer in pretty short order, I planed them down to 1/8 of an inch. After that, I went over and got this thing glued up. I found that a plastic putty knife actually works very well at spreading the glue out fairly evenly. But once I get this thing clamped up, I'll go ahead and let it sit for about 3 or 4 hours, and I'll come back and continue working on it. And then after about 4 hours, like I said, I came back and just took it out of clamps and cleaned up some of the glue face with a card scraper. With that done, I went over to my laser and I found a clip art moose, and I just did a trace image in light burn, and I came up with this design. I made just enough passes, which turns out to be 4, to cut through the 1/8 inch veneer but not into the MDF. So now I've taken a 1/4 inch router bit and I've set it to 1/8 of an inch deep, and I'm routing out or hogging out the inlay portion of this. And then I'm going to move to 3/16 router bit and kind of clean it up and finish this off. But I'm going to tell you the folly of my ways. And you probably already know, it would have been way smarter to glue this cherry and the ash together as a panel that it was 1/8 of an inch thick, cut it out on the laser, and just drop out the inlay, and then glue the panel down to the MDF with the moose already cut out. So I kind of took the long road here to get this done, but eventually I got there. Next, I went back to the laser and kind of puzzle pieced out a whole bunch of cut off pieces of walnut, again, that were 1/8 of an inch thick, and I cut out the perimeter pieces on the laser to fit into this. But what I want to add is it was very intentional, the grain direction of this walnut. It would have been easy to put one singular cut out walnut piece in there for the moose, but I wanted vertical grain on the legs, horizontal across the back, curved across the neck, etc. So I wanted this intentional inlay design on it, so that's what I did. I think it turned out good. I would love to know in the comments what you think of that, but let's keep moving on. So once I dry fitted all the pieces and made sure I was happy indeed with the fit and the orientation of the grain, which I was, I went ahead and spread some glue on it and got this thing clamped down. I'll come back again in another 3 or 4 hours and keep moving on with this, because my intention is this is a one-day project. Okay, so it's only been about 2.5, maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes, but I came back because I want to keep moving on this, and I'm terribly impatient. But I'll get the clamps off and see how it looks, and then proceed to sand it if everything looks okay. And it looked good, and it was dry enough to go ahead and sand, so that's what I did. I worked through all the grits, and I sanded down to 320. And then back over at the table saw, I cleaned up the edges and sized it to the approximate size that I wanted. And then it was time for kind of my favorite part, is putting that first coat of finish on, especially on walnut, because it really just makes that grain pop. As you can tell, I opted for Danish oil. It's a natural color Danish oil. It's just quick. Wipe on enough excess, wait about 10 minutes, and then wipe off what's left on the surface, and then it's ready to keep moving. In the end, I did one last thing to finish it off. I wrapped it in a perimeter of barnwood, and I was really happy with how it turned out. Hey, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.